The walls of the conference chamber quivered, a low hum growing into a tremor that sent a shiver through the gathered diplomats. Representatives from 12 different galactic races sat around the table, their holographic displays flickering as the station's power faltered again. Ambassador Vera, the human envoy, sat motionless, her face a mask of calm amidst the jittering chaos. To her left, the reptilian Zakal shaman was attempting a mind merge with her, a ritual meant to seal the peace accords with a bond of unity. The merge failed spectacularly. A collective gasp escaped as the shaman recoiled, its eyes widening, scales flushing an alarming shade of crimson. Such pain, it hissed, its voice resonating through the chamber. Your mind, it is filled with chaos and suffering. Vera's expression flickered, the calm facade cracking for just a moment. She had prepared for scrutiny, practiced mental fortitude for this very event. Yet, the shaman's intrusion had torn open old wounds she thought long scarred over. Images of a childhood in war zones, of loss and survival, spilled into the shared psychic space, unbidden and raw. The alien diplomats murmured, their concern palpable. The Zakal had never faltered in a mind merge before. The failure was unprecedented. Vera straightened, turning the moment to her advantage. What you see is our strength, she declared, her voice steadying. Humans have endured, adapted, and thrived despite our struggles. It is what makes us formidable allies. As if punctuating her words, the station shuddered more violently. Alarms wailed, the lights dimming to a crimson hue as the emergency systems kicked in. The station was failing, its integrity compromised by an asteroid storm that had struck earlier. We must evacuate, Vera commanded, rising. Her tone left no room for debate, the decisive authority in her voice cutting through the panic. This peace conference can only conclude if we survive. The diplomats hesitated, caught between the chaos outside and the humans' unexpected leadership, as if her trauma had revealed a hidden reservoir of strength. The Zakal shaman blinked slowly, acknowledging Vera's resolve. Perhaps, it rasped, your pain is indeed your power. Vera nodded, already issuing orders as the station systems continued their downward spiral. The diplomats moved, scrambling to follow her lead as the structure around them teetered on the brink of collapse. Yet, even as they rushed to the escape pods, an unspoken understanding lingered in the air. The humans were not to be underestimated. The stadium lights cast long shadows across the arena as the tension in the air thickened, pressing down on the crowd like the dense atmosphere of a gas giant. The alien sports tournament, known across the galaxy as the Zilith Games, had taken an unforeseen turn for the human team, Team Sol. The latest challenge had been abruptly interrupted by an all-too-familiar danger. The Krell, a notoriously antagonistic species, had infiltrated the games. The Krell were known for their cunning and manipulation, with sleek, serpentine forms that could twist through the tightest of spaces. Their scales shimmered with iridescent malevolence under the stadium lights, and their red eyes glowed like embers, promising chaos to come. The leader of Team Sol, Captain Maya Thompson, felt the weight of the situation settle on her shoulders. Her team was young, enthusiastic but untested in matters of galactic politics and warfare. Their mission had been simple: prove humanity's worth on the interstellar stage by excelling in the Zilith Games. Now, it had become something else entirely. We need to regroup, Maya shouted over the din of the panicking crowd and the blaring alarms. Her voice carried the authority she had honed over years of leading, a beacon of calm and focus for her team amidst the chaos. What do they want? Gasped Zeke, the team's strategist, as he fell into step beside her. His mind was usually sharp, always 3 moves ahead, but the suddenness of the Krell's appearance had rattled him. Power, control, it's always about power with the Krell, replied Maya tersely. But we're not going to let them derail this tournament. We need to keep our focus. Beside them, Alyssa, the team's ace athlete, was scanning the arena with a mixture of awe and determination. Her lithe form was poised for action, ready to spring into motion at a moment's notice. Are the Krell targeting us specifically, or is this a broader attack? She asked, her voice steady. "It doesn't matter," Maya replied. "What matters is we stay together and protect each other. We've trained for this, even if we didn't know it at the time." As they moved, the arena's screens flickered, and the feed switched from the chaos of the field to an ominous visage, the Krell leader, Zyrak. His voice slithered through the speakers, each word dripping with disdain. "People of the galaxy," Zyrak hissed, "your games are at an end. The Krell have come to claim what is rightfully ours." Maya clenched her fists. "He's trying to sow fear," she said, her voice firm. "But we won't give in to it. We've got to find a way to communicate with the other teams and form a plan." Zeke nodded, already plotting. "If we can reach the control room, we might be able to override their broadcast and coordinate a counterattack. Then that's our new goal. Alyssa, stay on point. Zeke, keep mapping our route," Maya ordered, her team falling into a formation that had been practiced countless times on Earth. The corridors leading away from the arena were a labyrinth of sleek alien architecture, designed to accommodate a multitude of species. As they moved, they encountered other teams, some panicked, others rallying to Maya's call for unity. The arena's usual vibrant hum was replaced with the sound of hurried footsteps and distant clashes. It was a symphony of survival, an impromptu alliance of athletes turned defenders. A few rival teams nodded at Maya's lead, recognizing the need for a united front against the Krell. The unified spirit was a testament to what the Zilith Games represented at their core: cooperation and understanding amid competition. As they approached the control room, a squad of Krell guards blocked their path. The aliens' elongated forms moved with eerie grace, their weapons glinting menacingly under the emergency lighting. Maya's heart thudded in her chest, but she kept her expression calm. "We can't go around them," Alyssa whispered, her muscles tensed like a coiled spring. "We have to go through." Maya nodded, her mind racing. "Alyssa, create a distraction. Zeke and I will take them out." Alyssa didn't hesitate. She dashed forward, her agility a blur as she zigzagged between the Krell, drawing their attention with swift movements. The Krell hissed in frustration, their shots going wide as they tried to catch the nimble human. With their focus diverted, Maya and Zeke moved in. Maya's combat training took over as she disarmed the nearest Krell with a fluid motion, her elbow connecting with its jaw with satisfying force. Zeke, relying on his quick reflexes, ducked under a swinging tail and swept the legs out from under another. Within moments, the Krell squad lay incapacitated, their sleek forms sprawled across the corridor. Alyssa rejoined the team, slightly out of breath but grinning. "Nice work," she said, giving Zeke a playful punch on the shoulder. "Let's keep moving," Maya urged, her mind already on the next task. They reached the control room, its doors slightly ajar as if beckoning them to enter. Inside, the room was a hive of technology, with screens displaying every corner of the arena and beyond. The familiar hum of machinery was a comforting reminder of the order they sought to restore. Zeke immediately set to work, his fingers flying over the console as he attempted to gain access to the central systems. "I've got a back door into the network," he announced, his voice tinged with triumph. "Give me a minute, and I'll have us broadcasting across the entire station." Maya watched him work, her mind a whirl of possibilities. If they could get a message out, they could unite the teams and spectators against the Krell. It was a slim chance, but it was all they had. As Zeke continued his work, Maya turned to Alyssa. "Once Zeke has control, we need to secure this room. The Krell will come for it once they realize what's happening." Alyssa nodded, her eyes sharp with determination. "I'll make sure they regret it if they try." Seconds stretched into eternity as Zeke worked, the tension in the room mounting with each passing moment. Finally, he looked up, a grin spreading across his face. "We're live." Maya stepped forward, her voice steady as she addressed the galaxy. "This is Captain Maya Thompson of Team Sol. The Krell have attacked the Zilith Games, but we cannot let their aggression destroy what we've built here. We call on all teams, all species, to stand together. We are stronger united." Humanity has faced challenges before, and we've always risen to meet them. Let's show the Krell the power of unity. As her words echoed through the station, the response was immediate. Screens lit up with messages from other teams, pledging their support. Even species who had been fierce rivals acknowledged the need for alliance against a common foe. "Maya, we've got incoming," Alyssa warned, her eyes fixed on the corridor outside the control room. Maya nodded, her resolve hardening. It's time to show them what we're made of. The first wave of Krell attackers surged towards the control room, a tide of sleek forms and gleaming weapons. But Team Saul was ready. Alyssa met them head-on, her movements a dance of precision and power. Zeke provided cover, his quick thinking turning the environment against their foes. Maya was everywhere at once, her leadership a guiding force that kept them one step ahead. But the Krell were relentless, their numbers seemingly endless. For every one they took down, two more appeared. The stakes had never been higher, the danger never more real. "We can't hold them forever," Zeke shouted, ducking as a Krell weapon discharged overhead. "We need reinforcements." As if in answer to his plea, the sound of approaching footsteps and battle cries reverberated through the corridor. Teams from across the galaxy had heeded Maya's call, joining the fray with determination and courage. The tide was turning, and the Krell found themselves facing a united front of defiance. Maya felt a swell of pride and hope as she fought alongside her fellow competitors, each of them driven by the shared desire to protect what the Zilith Games represented. In the midst of the chaos, a new figure emerged, a towering Krell warrior, more formidable than any they had faced. Its scales were a dark, ominous hue, and its presence exuded authority. Zyrak had entered the field. The Krell leader's eyes locked onto Maya's, a silent challenge passing between them. Here was the true test, the culmination of everything they had trained for. "This ends now," Zyrak hissed, his voice a cold promise. Maya met his gaze, undaunted. "It ends when we say it does." The battle that followed was a storm of movement and sound. Maya's team fought with everything they had, their bond and training holding them together even as the Krell leader pressed them with brutal efficiency. Zyrak's prowess was undeniable, each strike calculated and devastating. But Maya was relentless, her determination a force of its own. She dodged, parried, and countered, each movement a testament to humanity's resilience. Slowly, they gained ground. The other teams rallied around them, their collective strength a beacon of hope. The Krell forces faltered, their confidence shaken by the unexpected unity of their adversaries. Finally, with a decisive blow, Maya disarmed Zyrak, her victory a symbol of defiance against tyranny. The Krell leader staggered, his arrogance shattered by the combined might of those he had underestimated. As Zyrak and his forces retreated, the arena erupted in cheers, the sound a cathartic release of tension and triumph. Maya stood amidst her team, her heart swelling with pride as she looked at the faces of allies who had become comrades. Zeke clapped her on the back, grinning from ear to ear. "We did it, Maya. We really did it." Alyssa laughed, her eyes bright with victory. "And we couldn't have done it without you." Maya smiled, the weight of what they had achieved settling in. "No, we couldn't have done it without each other." The Zilith Games had become more than just a tournament. They had become a testament to the strength of unity, a reminder that humanity, even in the vastness of the galaxy, could stand tall and face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the arena began to return to its usual vibrancy, the teams gathered together, their differences set aside in the wake of shared victory. The Krell had been repelled, but the message sent was undeniable. The galaxy was vast, but it was only through unity that they could truly thrive. For Maya and her team, it was the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with promise and potential. Humanity had proven itself capable of standing shoulder to shoulder with the stars, ready to face whatever came next. And as the lights dimmed and the games resumed, the spirit of cooperation and camaraderie continued to shine brightly, a beacon for all to see. The arena thrummed with the anticipation of a verdict, its vast, kaleidoscopic audience pulsating in waves of color and sound. The luminescent panels of the stadium flickered as the Yolith judge deliberated on the unprecedented event that had just transpired, a failed mind merge. For the first time in the history of the Galactic Confluence Games, a species had not only failed to establish the required link but had unintentionally broadcast their deepest, darkest traumas into the collective consciousness of the universe. Emma Carter, captain of the Earth team, stood at the center of the field, her breath shallow and her heart pounding in her chest. Around her, the other human competitors wore expressions of shock and disbelief. They had trained for years, endured rigorous selection processes, but nothing could have prepared them for this. The Mind Merge was a ceremonial event, a chance for competing species to exchange understanding and empathy. When the humans had attempted it, a cacophony of personal and historical anguish had erupted. Memories of wars, natural disasters, individual suffering, and collective struggles poured forth, a torrent of human history projected into the minds of those present. The Yolith judge, a towering creature of ethereal grace with translucent skin that shimmered like stardust, turned its gaze upon the human contingent. Its voice, a harmonious blend of notes and colors, resonated through the arena. "The mind merge has failed," it intoned, the phrase echoing with the weight of eons. "Humanity's scars run deep." Emma looked around at her team. There was Alexei, the stoic Russian whose mind had betrayed loss after loss, and Jia, the Chinese gymnast whose fear of failure was palpable. There was also Tariq, the Kenyan runner whose memories of drought and resilience had bled into the ether. Each of them now bore the shame of their species' revealed vulnerabilities. "We didn't come here to lose," Emma whispered, her voice barely audible amid the tumult. "We came here to compete," Alexei replied, his voice a low rumble. "But how do we compete with ourselves laid bare for everyone to see?" The Yolith judge's verdict was clear. The humans would be allowed to continue in the tournament, but their standing had been significantly compromised. The other teams, some viewing humanity with newfound pity, others with disdain, seemed more formidable than ever. The Clacks, with their telepathic unity, the Vortani, with their superior strength and agility, and the serene, calculating Three Kreen, all seemed insurmountable obstacles. As the humans walked off the field, Emma felt the weight of the universe's eyes upon them. How could they possibly compete now, when their every weakness had been exposed? Back in their quarters, tension simmered. "We have to face it," Jia said, her voice trembling with the vulnerability she had shown. "They've seen everything, every mistake, every fear." Tariq leaned against the wall, crossing his arms defensively. "They've seen our humanity," he corrected. "Our fight, our persistence." "Perhaps that's not enough," Alexei interjected, a shadow passing across his face. Emma studied her team, the people she had come to see as family. She had always believed in humanity's potential, in their adaptability and resilience. But now, against the backdrop of the galaxy's finest, they seemed small and exposed. "We need a plan," she said finally, breaking the silence. "Something that plays to our strengths." "But what strengths?" Jia asked, her voice tinged with despair. "They've seen everything." Emma took a deep breath, feeling the weight of leadership pressing down on her. "They've seen our scars, yes. But scars are a reminder of our survival, of battles fought and won. That's our strength." "But we're outmatched," Alexei said, his voice a growl of frustration. "The Clacks can read each other's thoughts, the Vortani are stronger, and the Three Kreen are faster." "Then we find another way," Emma replied, her voice firm, though her heart wavered. "We use what they don't expect." The conversation was interrupted by a soft chime and the appearance of a holographic message. It was a communication from the Federation Council, announcing the next event, the Ethereal Relay, a test of endurance, strategy, and teamwork. It would take place in the labyrinthine caves of Arcturus IV, a planet known for its unpredictable terrain and electromagnetic storms. Emma turned back to her team, her mind racing with possibilities. "This is it," she said, her eyes alight with determination. We may not be the strongest or the fastest, but we have something they don't: ingenuity. We'll need to think on our feet, adapt to the unexpected. Ja nodded slowly, her fear giving way to a spark of hope. And if we can turn the environment to our advantage, we might have a chance, Tariq concluded, a faint smile tugging at his lips. Throughout the night, they planned and strategized, drawing on their diverse backgrounds and experiences. Emma could see the shift in their demeanor, the way they leaned into each other's strengths. They were starting to believe again, to hope. The day of the relay arrived with the sky of Arcturus IV painted in shades of violet and gold. The human team stood at the starting line, their hearts pounding with anticipation. Around them, the other teams exuded confidence, their forms sleek and prepared. Emma looked at her team. "Remember," she said, "we've faced worse. We've come through every challenge together. This is no different." The signal flared, and they were off. The labyrinth was a twisting, turning maze of shimmering pathways and sudden pitfalls. The electromagnetic storms crackled overhead, distorting sounds and sights. The Vortani surged ahead, their powerful limbs propelling them with ease. The clacks moved as one, their telepathic communication guiding them unerringly. The three Kreen darted through the tunnels with practiced precision. But the humans had learned from their exposure. They moved with careful consideration, adapting to the shifting environment. When Tariq stumbled, it was Ja who caught him, offering a hand and a smile. When Alexei faltered, it was Emma's quick thinking that found an alternate route. As the race progressed, their strengths became apparent. Where the others approached the maze with brute force or perceived perfection, the humans navigated with intuition and creativity. They found paths others overlooked, used the storms to their advantage, timing movements with the bursts of electromagnetic interference. But the challenges kept mounting. Halfway through, a particularly fierce storm separated them, each member cast into a different corridor. Emma fought against the panic that threatened to rise. They had come so far, they couldn't let it end here. In the dim light of the cave, she paused, listening carefully, letting her instincts guide her. She remembered the tales of explorers, of pioneers who had faced the unknown with nothing but their wits and will. Slowly, she pieced together the sounds, the faint echoes that hinted at the paths her teammates had taken. One by one, she found them. Alexei, crouched and ready to give up, was lifted by her words of encouragement. Ja, lost in a loop of tunnels, was redirected by Emma's calm assurance. Tariq, battling the storm's influence on his senses, was centered by Emma's unwavering presence. Together again, they pushed forward, their resolve stronger than before. The final stretch loomed ahead, where the path narrowed and the challenges intensified. The other teams were already there, their forms visible in the distance. Emma's heart pounded as they approached the finish. They were behind, but not defeated. "This is it," she called, her voice carrying the strength of their shared determination. "Let's show them who we are." With renewed energy, they sprinted forward, their movements synchronized by a shared purpose. The others watched as the humans surged toward the finish line, a testament to the indomitable spirit that had brought them this far. In the end, they didn't win the race. The Vortani claimed victory, their strength and speed undeniable. But the humans finished with heads held high, their resilience leaving an indelible mark on the games. As they caught their breath, the Yolith judge approached, its expression unreadable. "Humanity," it said, its voice resonating with an unexpected warmth, "has shown something beyond power or precision. You have shown heart." Emma nodded, her chest swelling with pride. They might have been outmatched, but they had not been outdone. The Galactic Confluence Games continued, with more trials and challenges ahead. But now, the universe saw humanity not as a broken, exposed species, but as one with the potential to rise, to meet any challenge with courage and creativity. As the team walked from the field, their bond stronger than ever, Emma knew that they were not just competing for themselves, but for the whole of humanity. They had shown that even in moments of desperation, hope and unity could prevail. And somewhere in the expanse of the stars, She felt humanity's future was just beginning to unfold. The atmosphere within the arena shifted palpably as the holographic banners of the intergalactic games waved above, casting shimmering lights over the diverse audience. Thousands of alien species gathered, their eyes fixed on the pulsating action below, where the human team faced their latest and most daunting challenge. The sport, known as Quarrel, was a complex game that combined elements of strategy, speed, and physical prowess. It was a test of endurance and quick thinking, and the human team had been holding their own, until now. The opposing team, a group of agile, airborne creatures known as the Zixorans, had been dominating the scoreboard. Their leader, a sleek, feathered figure named Zeroth, was particularly adept at exploiting the humans' weaknesses. As the final round commenced, the humans found themselves down by a significant margin. Emma, the human captain, wiped sweat from her brow. Her team, though resilient, was exhausted. The Zixorans had used their ability to maneuver effortlessly through the air to press their advantage, scoring points with graceful ease. The humans, restricted to the ground, seemed at a stark disadvantage. "Time for a new strategy," Emma muttered, gathering her team in a huddle. Her eyes darted to each member, searching for the spark they needed to ignite their comeback. "We can't match them in the air, but we can outthink them. Remember our training. Let's use our environment." Her words sparked a renewed energy. Jack, the team's strategist, nodded. "Right, we need to force them into mistakes. Use the terrain to block their sight lines." The arena was a large, ever-shifting landscape of obstacles that the Zixorans had been navigating with ease. But Emma saw opportunities in the chaos. She glanced at the segments of the arena where the ground was unstable, a series of platforms floating over a vast chasm, and a forest of metallic trees that could obscure vision. As the whistle blew, signaling the restart, the humans sprang into action. Emma led them toward the floating platforms, an area they had avoided until now due to its unpredictability. She was banking on the Zixorans' overconfidence, an edge humans had learned to exploit in the past. Zeroth's team pursued, their wings glinting under the arena lights. They were fast, but the humans had an advantage in their adaptability. Emma called out commands, her voice cutting through the clamor. Jack executed a series of feints and quick maneuvers, luring the Zixorans into the trap. As anticipated, the Zixorans attempted to descend upon the humans, hoping for an easy victory. But as they did, the platform shifted, destabilizing their flight. Emma's team capitalized, scoring points that sent ripples of surprise through the audience. For a moment, hope surged through the human team, but Zeroth was not so easily deterred. With a flick of his wings, he rallied his teammates, directing them toward the forest of metallic trees. There, their agility would shine. Emma felt the pressure mounting. They'd gained ground, but the Zixorans were regrouping. "Don't let up," she urged her team. "Focus on coordination. We've got this." Yet, as they moved into the forest, a new obstacle emerged. The trees, seemingly benign, began releasing a fine dust that clung to the humans, reducing visibility and making it harder to breathe. The Zixorans, unaffected due to their respiratory adaptations, pressed their advantage, weaving effortlessly through the trees. The scoreboard tilted again in the Zixorans' favor, and the humans found themselves struggling against both the alien team and the environment itself. Emma felt the weight of expectation on her shoulders, the hopes of Earth resting on their performance. In the midst of the chaos, a sudden idea struck her. "Jack, what if we use the dust against them?" she proposed, her voice barely audible over the din. Jack's eyes lit up with understanding. "Of course, if we can disrupt their coordination, we might turn this around." They quickly devised a plan. The humans began to kick up the dust intentionally, creating a blinding cloud. With their own sight impaired, they relied on a system of clicks and whistles, a form of echolocation they trained in secretly, to navigate. The Zixorans, caught off guard by the sudden change, faltered. Their natural grace turned into chaos as they collided with branches and each other, their movements erratic. Emma's team seized the opportunity, scoring again and again. The crowd's roar was deafening, a mix of disbelief and excitement. The humans were adapting, overcoming each barrier thrown their way. But Zeroth was relentless. He regrouped his team once more, his fierce determination mirrored in their eyes. The game intensified, each side pushing their limits. The humans were now within reach of victory, but time was against them. As the final seconds approached, the Zixorans executed a daring play, one that could secure their win. They soared high, preparing to dive for the score that would seal their triumph. Emma watched, her mind racing. The humans needed a miracle, a moment of brilliance to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. She glanced at her team, seeing the exhaustion etched on their faces, yet also the indomitable spirit that refused to yield. In that split second, inspiration struck. "Jack, the rebound," she shouted, recalling a risky maneuver they'd practiced only once. Understanding dawned on Jack's face. He nodded, sprinting to position himself beneath the descending Zixorans. As they dove, Jack executed a leap, timing it perfectly to intercept their trajectory. The collision sent Jack sprawling, but not before he deflected the Zixorans' path, sending them off course. The ball, the coveted orb that determined victory, hung suspended in the air for a heartbeat. Emma, summoning every ounce of strength, launched herself toward it. The world slowed as she reached out, her fingers brushing against the orb. The contact was electric, a surge of possibility. With a final, desperate push, she directed it into the scoring zone just as the whistle blew. The arena erupted into chaos, cheers and gasps mingling as the scoreboard registered the points. Victory was theirs, snatched from the brink in the final moment. The humans, against all odds, had triumphed. Yet as the euphoria of their win washed over them, Emma knew the journey was far from over. This was but one match in a grueling tournament, a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. They'd faced their darkest moment and emerged victorious, but the road ahead promised even greater challenges. As the team gathered together, their bond strengthened by adversity, Emma felt a swell of pride. They had proven themselves in the eyes of the galaxy, shown a glimpse of what made humans special. But there was more to discover, more to achieve. Determination set in as they prepared for the next challenge. They had come so far, yet the tournament was far from over. The next obstacle awaited, and Emma knew they would face it with the same tenacity that had carried them through this trial. They were humans, adaptable and unyielding. And though the path ahead was uncertain, they were ready to embrace whatever came next, together. The air in the grand stadium was electric, pulsating with the anticipation of the millions gathered to witness the climax of the intergalactic Unity Games. A coliseum of the cosmos, built by technology far beyond human understanding, loomed over the planet's horizon like a titanium crown embedded in the sky. It was here that the finest athletes from across the universe met to compete, and now, it was where humanity faced its darkest hour. Team Earth, a ragtag assembly of athletes, scientists, and dreamers, had defied the odds to reach the final event, the Quintathlon. A multi-discipline challenge that tested the physical, mental, and emotional limits of its participants. Their journey had been fraught with challenges, victories hard-won, but now they stood battered and weary, staring down the final obstacle. A test designed by the Vexar, a species renowned for their cold precision and tactical brilliance. The Vexar team, towering figures of sleek musculature and shimmering, chromium-like skin, embodied victory itself. To them, this was not a contest but an inevitability. They watched with thinly veiled amusement as their opponents, the fragile humans, prepared themselves for the trial ahead. The Vexar had been champions for over a century, and the thought of defeat was as alien as the stars themselves. Jason Lee, the captain of Team Earth, felt the weight of the universe on his shoulders. His eyes, a shade of brown that glinted with determination, scanned the faces of his teammates. Each bore marks of exhaustion and struggle, but within their eyes burned the indomitable spirit that had brought them this far. "We've come this far, and we can't stop now," Jason said, his voice steady despite the chaos in his mind. "Remember why we're here. For Earth, for everyone who believed in us. Let's show them what humans are made of." Beside him, Maria Torres, the team's strategist, nodded. Her sharp mind had navigated them through the labyrinth of challenges, always finding a loophole, an opportunity, a way forward. "The Vexar are arrogant. They think they've already won. That's our advantage," she said, glancing at the team with a wry smile. The quintathlon began with a brutal test of strength. A gravity gauntlet where competitors had to maneuver through shifting gravitational fields. The Vexar moved with the ease of seasoned hunters, their bodies adapting seamlessly to each gravitational shift. But Team Earth, though initially clumsy, began to find their rhythm. Maria's strategy of conserving energy in the early rounds paid off. While the Vexar flaunted their superiority, the humans focused on endurance, their resolve hardening with every step. The next challenge was a cerebral puzzle, an intricate holographic maze that required not just intelligence but intuition. Here, Team Earth shone. Amelia Zhang, a prodigy with an intuitive grasp of alien technology, led the team. Her fingers danced over the holographic interface, piecing together patterns with an innate understanding that even surprised the Vexar. For the first time, a murmur of disbelief rippled through the alien spectators. But as the competition wore on, the toll on Team Earth became evident. Bruised and drained, they arrived at the fourth stage, a psychological trial that preyed on fears and doubts. The Vexar, impervious to emotional manipulation, breezed through with mechanical precision. In contrast, the humans struggled. Visions of past failures, personal losses, and the weight of representing their entire planet bore down on them. Yet, it was in this crucible of despair that their true strength emerged. "Remember who you are." Jason's voice cut through the oppressive whispers of doubt. "We've faced worse than this. Together, we're unstoppable." His words ignited a spark. Each team member began to push back against the illusions, drawing on memories of triumphs, the faces of loved ones back home, and the unyielding spirit of humanity. One by one, they broke free, standing united against the darkness. The final stage awaited. A race through an ever-changing terrain, fraught with natural and artificial obstacles. It was a test of speed, adaptability, and sheer willpower. The Vexar, confident to the point of cockiness, took an early lead, their laughter echoing through the stadium as they outpaced the humans effortlessly. But the humans did not falter. Though every muscle screamed in protest, though their lungs burned with each breath, they pressed on. Jason took the helm, calling out directions as Maria and the others followed suit, each step a testament to their determination. "Keep your eyes on the goal," Maria shouted, her words a lifeline in the chaos. "We can do this." The Vexar, sensing victory, began to toy with their prey, slowing their pace, taunting the humans with their proximity to defeat. It was a mistake, born of overconfidence. In their arrogance, they failed to notice the shift. The humans were not just surviving. They were adapting, using every ounce of ingenuity to navigate the terrain. A fallen log became a launch pad, a treacherous slope, an opportunity to gain speed. The humans were relentless, a force of nature that refused to be subdued. And then, as they rounded the final bend, something extraordinary happened. The ground trembled, not with fear, but with the collective heartbeat of Earth, the hopes and dreams of billions manifesting as a tangible force. The human spirit, undeterred by adversity, surged forward. "We're not just running for ourselves," Jason shouted, his voice hoarse but unwavering. "We're running for everyone who believes in us, for every dreamer who dares to reach for the stars." The finish line loomed ahead, a shimmering beacon that promised redemption and glory. The Vexar, sensing the shift in momentum, pushed harder, their laughter now tinged with desperation. But the humans, fueled by an indomitable will, closed the gap with every stride. In those final moments, time seemed to stretch, each second a heartbeat, each heartbeat a step closer to destiny. The Vexar, still confident in their innate superiority, failed to see the storm gathering behind them, a storm of resilience, of determination, of humanity's unyielding spirit. As they approached the line, the stadium erupted in a cacophony of sound, a symphony of voices from every corner of the galaxy, witnessing the impossible. Team Earth, against all odds, matched the Vexar stride for stride. And then, with a final, desperate surge, the humans leapt forward. In that moment, it was not just the athletes who soared, but the hopes of an entire species. The finish line passed beneath them, the outcome blurred in a whirlwind of energy and light. The world held its breath, anticipation crackling in the air like static. The Vexar, once so sure of their victory, now stood silent, their expressions unreadable. The humans, chests heaving with exertion, waited, their resolve unwavering despite the uncertainty. Then, the announcement came, echoing through the stadium, reverberating in the hearts of all who listened: a tie. A draw, unprecedented in the history of the games. The Vexar, so accustomed to triumph, were stunned into silence. But for Team Earth, it was not just a result, it was a victory. They had proven that humanity, with its myriad imperfections and boundless potential, could stand toe-to-toe with the greatest the galaxy had to offer. They had shown that it was not just about winning, but about daring to dream, to reach beyond the stars, and to never, ever give up. As the crowd erupted into cheers, Jason turned to his team, their faces alight with the realization of what they had achieved. "We did it," he breathed, the weight of their journey finally lifting. "We showed them what we're capable of." Maria nodded, tears glistening in her eyes. "And this is just the beginning." In that moment, beneath the alien sky, humanity found its place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as equals, as dreamers, as a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. The seeds of resurgence had been planted, and as the humans stood united, they knew that this was not the end, but a new beginning. The darkest hour had passed, and with it, the dawn of a new era beckoned, a future where anything was possible, where humanity's place in the cosmos was only limited by their imagination. The Vexar, though defeated in their arrogance, could only watch as the humans celebrated, their own laughter now a distant echo. They had underestimated the resolve of humanity, a lesson learned in humility. And as the humans embraced, the galaxy bore witness to the truth that had been revealed. The greatest strength lay not in power, but in the courage to defy the impossible. In that moment, everything changed. The stadium hummed with the low thrumming of alien anticipation. The air was thick with the scent of 1,000 different worlds, a heady mix of the exotic and the familiar. The Galactic Sports Tournament had drawn competitors and spectators from every corner of the universe, each bringing their own customs, flavors, and expectations. Humans, the newest entrants into this cosmic contest, were regarded with a mix of curiosity and condescension. In the stands, the announcer's voice boomed, echoing off the curved walls of the arena. And now, representing Earth, the humans. A smattering of polite applause mingled with the more enthusiastic cheers of the human contingent, dwarfed by the massive crowds of other species. The field was a vast expanse of shifting terrain, designed to accommodate the diverse athletic challenges that made up the tournament. Hovering platforms, floating barriers, and shifting sands created an arena that could morph from one event to the next with bewildering speed. Team Earth, clad in sleek, adaptive suits, stood at the edge of the field. Michael Nguyen, their captain, surveyed the arena with a calm determination that belied the tension in his shoulders. Beside him, Sarah Thompson adjusted her visor, a flicker of determination in her eyes, while Jamal Carter flexed his fingers, feeling the comforting hum of the suit's exoskeletal enhancements. The first event was a relay race, but not of the conventional sort. The course twisted through a maze of floating rings and obstacles, each requiring a unique combination of agility, strength, and quick thinking. The competition had been fierce, and despite their best efforts, the humans had been struggling to keep up with the more experienced alien teams. As the signal to start blared through the arena, Michael took off, his heart pounding in time with the rhythmic thrum of the suit. The alien teams surged ahead, their movements fluid and practiced. The Zoraxians, with their multiple limbs, swung through the rings with spider-like grace. The Scythrans, ethereal and light, seemed to glide effortlessly over the obstacles, barely touching the ground. But Michael's mind was sharp, his focus unwavering. He had studied each team, learned their strengths and their weaknesses. He knew that the humans' chance lay not in brute strength or speed, but in their adaptability and cunning. As he approached the first obstacle, a wall of shimmering light, Michael remembered the countless hours of training. "Trust in yourself and your team," his coach had said. "Our greatest strength is our ability to adapt." With a deep breath, Michael leapt, timing his jump perfectly to align with the flicker of the barrier's opening. He passed through unscathed, a quick grin on his face as he handed the baton to Sarah. Sarah took off, her mind a whirl of calculations. The second leg required precision, navigating a series of narrow platforms that floated in midair. She remembered her gymnast training, the countless hours spent honing her balance and reflexes. As she bounded from platform to platform, a flicker of movement caught her eye, a Scythron competitor faltering, their ethereal forms struggling to adjust to a sudden shift in the platform's direction. Seizing the opportunity, Sarah pushed harder, her agile form darting through the course with an elegance that drew murmurs of appreciation from the crowd. The baton passed to Jamal, who faced the final stretch, a series of barriers that required both brute strength and strategic thinking. The Zoraxians were already ahead, their multi-limbed forms wrenching the barriers aside with ease. Jamal focused on the task at hand, his mind racing. He couldn't match the Zoraxians' raw power, but he didn't need to. Drawing on his engineering background, he assessed the barriers, noting their weak points, the subtle cues in their structure. With a shout, Jamal launched himself forward, leveraging his enhanced suit to amplify his movements. Instead of confronting the barriers head-on, he used their momentum, redirecting it, letting the barriers shift and fall as if by their own accord. And then, in a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, Jamal hurled the baton across the finish line, his heart soaring as it landed just a fraction of a second ahead of the nearest competitor. The stadium erupted in noise, a cacophony of disbelief and admiration. The humans had not only completed the race but had emerged victorious against all odds. In the stands, the announcer's voice wavered, barely concealing his surprise. "Incredible! Team Earth has taken the lead in the first event." The human contingent exploded with cheers, their voices a jubilant chorus of hope and pride. In the stands, representatives of other species exchanged glances, their expressions shifting from dismissive to intrigued. The next event was upon them, a test of strategic collaboration and problem-solving. The contestants faced a vast, holographic simulation, a three-dimensional puzzle that required both mental acuity and teamwork. The goal was to navigate the maze and retrieve a hidden artifact, using only the tools and information provided. The teams gathered around the simulation, their displays lighting up with streams of data. The Scythrans, with their telepathic prowess, swiftly coordinated their movements, mapping out the maze with impressive speed. The Zoraxians, relying on their collective hive mind, worked in unison, their efficiency unmatched. But it was the humans who, once again, caught the tournament by surprise. Michael, Sarah, and Jamal leaned over their display, their faces intense with concentration. Instead of working individually, they pooled their insights, each offering a different perspective, an unexpected solution. "Look," Michael said, pointing to a section of the maze. "If we trigger this sequence, it'll open a shortcut. But we'll need to time it perfectly," Sarah added, her mind racing. "If we miss it, we'll be trapped." Jamal nodded, already adjusting the parameters on his display. "I can calculate the timing. Trust me." Together, they executed their plan with precision, their movements synchronized in a way that defied their lack of telepathic abilities. The shortcut opened, and within moments, they had retrieved the artifact, their triumphant cries echoing through the arena. The spectators were on their feet, their cheers a testament to the humans' ingenuity and tenacity. On the sidelines, the other teams watched, a newfound respect in their eyes. The final event was a battle royale, a test of endurance, adaptability, and raw courage. The arena transformed into a shifting landscape of hazards and challenges, each more daunting than the last. The competitors were armed with an array of non-lethal weapons and tools, designed to test their ability to think on their feet and adapt to changing circumstances. The humans entered the fray with a sense of determination, their previous victories fueling their resolve. The Zoraxians charged forward, their imposing forms a whirlwind of limbs and motion. The Sithrans danced through the chaos, their ethereal grace allowing them to evade and outmaneuver their opponents. But it was the humans who turned the tide, demonstrating a resilience and resourcefulness that left their competitors reeling. Michael led the charge, his mind a flurry of calculations and strategies. He directed his team with precision, using their strengths to exploit the weaknesses of their opponents. Sarah moved with a dancer's grace, her movements a blur of speed and agility. She darted between combatants, disarming them with a deftness that left them stunned and disoriented. Jamal, ever the engineer, used the arena to his advantage, leveraging the environment against their opponents. He triggered a series of controlled collapses, guiding his team through the chaos with an uncanny intuition. As the battle raged on, it became clear that the humans were not to be underestimated. Their adaptability, their ingenuity, and their indomitable spirit set them apart, a force to be reckoned with in the tournament. The final moments of the event were a blur of motion and sound. Michael, Sarah, and Jamal stood together, their backs to each other, their eyes scanning the arena for the final push. The remaining competitors closed in, their determination undiminished. And then, in a moment of sheer audacity, Michael made the call. Now, he shouted, his voice cutting through the din. Jamal triggered a series of traps, the arena responding to his commands with a roar of shifting earth and cascading barriers. Sarah moved with a dancer's grace, leading their opponents into a carefully orchestrated ambush. As the dust settled, the humans stood victorious, their opponents scattered and defeated. The arena was silent for a moment, the weight of the moment hanging in the air. And then, slowly at first, the applause began, a ripple of sound that grew into a tidal wave of admiration and respect. The spectators rose to their feet, their cheers a testament to the humans' triumph. In the stands, the announcer's voice echoed, filled with awe and wonder. Ladies and gentlemen, and beings of all species, Team Earth has done the impossible. They have not only competed but have excelled, proving that humanity is a force to be reckoned with. The humans stood together, their hearts pounding with the thrill of victory. They had come to the tournament as underdogs, but they had emerged as champions, their strength and spirit shining as brightly as the stars. As they left the arena, the other teams watched them with newfound respect, their expressions a mix of admiration and a hint of trepidation. The humans had proven that they were not to be underestimated, their potential limitless, their future bright. And as the tournament continued, one thing was clear: humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and they were here to stay. As the final round of the Galactic Concord Games began, the stands of the colossal stadium were teeming with spectators from every corner of the universe. Ethereal lights danced across the sky, mingling with the cheers of a million voices that reverberated through the cosmos. Each species present had sent their finest athletes, all vying for the coveted title of Galactic Champion. Yet amidst the sea of extraordinary beings, it was the humans who stood at the center of attention. The atmosphere was electric with anticipation as the final event, a daunting multi-discipline challenge designed to test every conceivable skill, was about to commence. It was a relay of sorts, requiring the teams to navigate through a series of increasingly complex obstacles, both physical and intellectual. The competitors needed not only strength and speed, but also ingenuity and adaptability. Team Earth, representing humanity, had already surprised many with their performance in earlier rounds. Yet few still believed they could overcome the towering figures of the Zyltharians or the swift and serpentine Vylians. The odds were, mathematically and culturally, stacked against them. After all, humans were a latecomer to the galactic stage, seen more as quaint curiosities than serious contenders. Or so the other species had thought. The first segment was a test of strength and dexterity, set within a shifting labyrinth of levitating platforms and oscillating barriers. The Zyltharian champion, a hulking mass of muscle and sinew, stormed through with predictable efficiency. But it was Lena Carter, the human lead for this section, who astounded the crowd. Her movements were fluid yet forceful, a dance of precision and power that saw her sail through the labyrinth with a speed that left even the Zyltharian crowd in stunned silence. Each leap and twist was met with a chorus of gasps, her human kin cheering with fervor as she tagged in the next team member. Next was the mental gauntlet, a matrix of puzzles and problems that demanded not only logic but creativity, a true test of intellect and intuition. Here, the Vilean competitor was expected to shine, their species known for unparalleled cognitive capabilities. But as the puzzles appeared, an ever-evolving holographic display of complex equations and abstract concepts, it was Miguel Alvarez, the human mathematician, who took center stage. His mind worked with an artistry that defied expectation, his fingers dancing across the interface with a confidence that belied the apparent chaos. His solutions, both unconventional and elegant, lit up the board one after another, leaving the Vileans in awe of his prowess. The third phase demanded agility and endurance, a high-speed chase through a simulated environment of shifting gravity and kaleidoscopic landscapes. The competitors had to adapt swiftly to ever-changing conditions that altered with each passing second. The lithe Valorians were renowned for their agility, but it was Anna Tran who drew the collective breath of the audience. Her reflexes were honed from years of training on Earth, where she had mastered the art of parkour. She moved with a grace that defied the laws of physics, each leap and roll a testament to human tenacity and adaptability. As she crossed the finish line, the holographic scoreboards lit up with the impossible. Team Earth had taken the lead. The final trial, however, was meant to be the great equalizer, a combination of all elements, where teams had to work in perfect harmony to navigate an arena that morphed with every heartbeat. The Antarians, with their telepathic coordination, were favored to dominate this ultimate test of teamwork and strategy. But humanity had a secret weapon. The indomitable spirit of cooperation, the unyielding bond of camaraderie forged through diversity and shared struggle. As the team took their places, they were a sight to behold, a diverse mosaic of humanity, each member bringing their unique strengths to the fore. They had trained not just as individuals but as a unit, their synergy palpable and profound. They moved as one, a living testament to the power of unity in diversity. The arena shifted into a tangled web of challenges, a chaotic blend of earth, air, and mind. The Antarians moved with mechanical precision, their minds linked in a flawless network. Yet the humans, with their blend of verbal communication and instinctive trust, matched them step for step. Lena's strength, Miguel's intellect, Anna's agility, and the strategic brilliance of their captain, Jackson Reed, coalesced into a force that was nothing short of extraordinary. Jackson, a former military strategist, saw through the chaos with an acumen that was almost prescient. He directed his team with a series of quick, decisive commands, each one tailored to the unfolding scenario. His eyes darted across the arena, seeing patterns and paths invisible to others, and his voice carried the confidence of a leader who believed in the impossible. The spectators leaned forward, breathless as they watched the humans perform the impossible. The Zyltharians and Vileans, once dismissive, now watched in disbelief. The Antarians faltered, their telepathic links strained by the unpredictable nature of the challenge. In contrast, the humans thrived in the chaos, their adaptability and resilience shining through. In the final moments, the decisive task appeared, a synthesis of all previous elements, a puzzle that required not just individual brilliance but collective genius. The Antarians hesitated, their perfect symphony disrupted by an unforeseen variable. But Team Earth, driven by an unyielding spirit and a refusal to surrender, surged forward. Miguel's mind raced as he calculated probabilities, his insights sparking like wildfire as he communicated them to his teammates. Anna moved with the speed of thought, her body a blur of motion as she carried out his instructions with precision. Lena's strength became the backbone, supporting her team as they executed the final maneuver. With a final, breathtaking surge, Jackson coordinated the team's efforts into one cohesive, unstoppable force. The puzzle, a towering enigma of complexity, dissolved into clarity under their combined efforts. As the last piece fell into place, the arena erupted in a crescendo of light and sound. Team Earth, against all odds and expectations, had triumphed. The stadium fell silent for a heartbeat, the collective shock of a trillion minds grappling with the impossible. And then, like a tidal wave, the realization rolled through the crowd. Humans had done it. They had won. The roar of applause was deafening, a universal acknowledgement of the indomitable spirit of humanity. The Zyltharians, Bylians, Antarians, and countless other species rose to their feet, their applause a testament to newfound respect and admiration. The humans, once underestimated, had proven themselves not only as equals but as champions. As the team stood together, their faces alight with joy and disbelief, they were surrounded by their fellow competitors. The Zyltharian champion, towering and imposing, approached Lena with an outstretched hand, a gesture of respect from one warrior to another. The Bylians, their eyes wide with admiration, nodded to Miguel, acknowledging a mind that had outmatched their own. The Antarian leader, who had once seen humans as insignificant, approached Jackson with a slow, deliberate nod. "Your species is full of surprises," he intoned, his voice resonant with newfound respect. "You have shown us the true power of unity." Jackson, humbled and elated, shook the Antarian's hand. "We're just getting started," he replied, his grin infectious as he looked at his team. They had done it together, a testament to their resilience and spirit. The Galactic Concord Games had not only crowned new champions, but it had also redefined humanity's place in the cosmos. No longer were humans seen as the underdogs. They were respected, admired, and perhaps most importantly, understood. They had brought something unique to the galactic stage, a vibrant, chaotic energy that thrived on diversity and ingenuity. As the team took a victory lap around the arena, the humans in the stands erupted into cheers of pride and joy. They had seen their own spirit reflected in those who represented them, a mirror of their potential and possibility. The other species watched on, their preconceptions challenged, their perspectives broadened. The galaxy had witnessed an extraordinary display of human excellence, a story that would echo through the stars for generations to come. It was a reminder to all that the human spirit, when united, was a force to be reckoned with, a force that could achieve the impossible and inspire the universe. In the heart of the intergalactic Colosseum, the echoes of human victory reverberated through the air, reaching every corner of the cosmos. The final point had been scored, the crowd roared, and the impossible was achieved. Humanity had won the Galactic Games, a feat that had been deemed unattainable by many of the seasoned and often condescending alien species. Yet, here they stood, champions of an event that was more than just a sports tournament. It was a testament to spirit, resilience, and unity. Marcus Ruiz, the captain of the human team, stood at the center of the arena, his breath still catching up with the adrenaline that surged through him. His eyes scanned the faces in the stands, aliens of all shapes and sizes, some with multiple appendages clapping rhythmically, others with luminous eyes blinking in disbelief. Marcus could hardly believe it himself, but the trophy in his hands was real and solid. "Do you see that, Captain?" asked Zar, the Martian whose sweeping tentacles had been instrumental in defense throughout the games. "The universe is watching, and they will remember this day." Marcus nodded, his heart swelling with pride. "They'll remember this day, but more importantly, they'll remember what we did to get here." A ripple of acknowledgement moved through the human team as they gathered around him. Each one of them had their story, their struggle, and their contribution to this moment. There was Lena, the agile gymnast whose impossible flips had turned the tide in the semifinals, Ahmed, the strategist whose keen mind had outwitted even the most telepathic of opponents, and May, whose unparalleled speed had left other competitors in the dust. As they stood together, the universe seemed to pause. This victory was not just about the trophy or the glory. It was about humanity's place among the stars, the spirit of cooperation, and the indomitable will to rise above challenges. The aftermath of their victory was felt immediately. The Galactic Games Committee, previously reticent and often dismissive of human involvement, now faced the undeniable truth of human capability. The chairman, an ancient being with crystalline features that shimmered in the artificial sunlight, approached Marcus and his team. "Your victory is unprecedented," the chairman said, his voice resonating with an ethereal echo. "You have shown the galaxy the potential of your kind. We offer our sincerest congratulations." "Thank you," Marcus replied, his voice steady and proud. "But it's not just about us. We've learned from every species here. This victory is a testament to what we can achieve when we learn from one another." The chairman nodded, a slight smile breaking the rigidity of his crystalline face. "Indeed, and with that understanding, we extend an invitation to Earth to participate in the Intergalactic Council. Your insights and perspectives would be invaluable." The announcement sent a wave of murmurs through the crowd. Earth, previously an outlier in the grand scheme of interstellar politics, was now being invited to the table where the galaxy's most pivotal decisions were made. Back on Earth, the news spread like wildfire. The planet erupted in celebrations that crossed continents and cultures. Humanity, once divided by invisible borders, found unity in a victory that transcended terrestrial concerns. People gathered in public squares, parks, and homes, watching on screens large and small as their ambassadors. The athletes stood victorious on the galactic stage. The change was palpable. Humanity's success at the Galactic Games sparked a newfound enthusiasm for space exploration and cooperation. Governments around the world announced increased funding for space programs and initiatives to foster interspecies collaboration. The once distant dream of a united Earth was becoming a reality, driven by the shared triumph in the stars. For the team, personal transformations mirrored the broader changes sweeping through humanity. Marcus, who had always been driven by a sense of duty to prove humanity's worth, found a new purpose as a bridge between species. As Earth's first ambassador to the Intergalactic Council, he carried with him the same determination and humility that had led his team to victory. Lena, whose athletic prowess had dazzled viewers across the galaxy, was invited to train with an interspecies team, teaching and learning in equal measure. The experience opened her eyes to the beauty of diversity and the strength that came from embracing differences. Ahmed, the strategist, found his calling in diplomacy, where his skills in prediction and understanding were invaluable. He worked tirelessly to forge alliances, ensuring that Earth's voice was heard and respected among the stars. May, ever the speedster, pursued a career in interstellar race circuits, where her human endurance and adaptability made her a formidable competitor. Her success brought joy not just to her but to millions who watched her races, seeing in her the embodiment of human spirit and tenacity. The victory also impacted the other species of the galaxy. The once skeptical Yalvorian, who had been dismissive of humanity, found themselves re-evaluating their perceptions. They extended an olive branch, initiating cultural exchanges that enriched both Earth and their homeworld. The Vaxorians, who had long been admired for their artistic expressions, found inspiration in humanity's story, leading to collaborations in the arts that resonated throughout the galaxy. Music, literature, and visual arts merged to create works that spoke of unity and hope. As the dust of the games settled and life resumed its course, the changes wrought by humanity's victory were undeniable. New alliances formed, technological exchanges blossomed, and cultural bridges were built. The galaxy, once fragmented by misunderstanding and prejudice, was slowly weaving itself into a tapestry of shared dreams and aspirations. And in the heart of all this change, humanity stood not as conquerors, but as partners, eager to learn and grow. The Galactic Games had been a test, not of physical prowess alone, but of the spirit. Humanity had passed that test, and in doing so, had shown the galaxy what it meant to persevere, to collaborate, and to dream beyond the stars. As the galaxy moved forward, Marcus found himself reflecting on the journey that had brought them here. Standing on the balcony of the Intergalactic Council's headquarters, he looked out at the stars, each one a world, a possibility. The future was vast and unknown, but it was a future that humanity would face with open hearts and open minds. And so, the story of the human victory at the Galactic Games became a legend, a tale told across planets and species, inspiring generations to come. It was a story of hope, of unity, and the incredible things that could be achieved when differences were celebrated, not feared. Humanity had forever changed the galaxy, and in doing so, had found its place among the stars. The universe was vast, but it was no longer a realm of isolation. It was a community, a shared journey toward a brighter, more inclusive future. And with that, the cosmos continued to hum with the possibilities that lay ahead, each star a beacon of hope, each planet a promise of adventure. Together, the galaxy looked forward, hand in hand, heart in heart, ready to explore the wonders of existence as one.